Hi, Peter Charles here for Fly Fishing, and today we're going to tie another classic steelhead pattern. It's the Purple Peril, and I happen to like this fly as it mixes brown and purple together. I've often thought of this as being a relatively useful color combination, an effective color combination, but it doesn't seem to get much use in fly fishing circles. We tend to go with, black and purple, or chartreuse and black, and those sorts of colors. Brown is a little bit more subtle, and I've caught quite a few steelhead over the years on flies that had predominantly brown wings or brown bodies. So, it's interesting to do one with a brown wing. So, let's get started. The hook today is a Mustad size 4 salmon hook. You could use size 2, size 6, size 8. You could probably even go to a 1/0 if you wanted to. My thread is a uni thread in black and a 6/0. The tag is Uni Mylar Gold Silver, a size 12, and we'll be using the silver side. The tail is purple saddle hackle. The rib is a medium Uni French oval tinsel. The body is purple uni yarn. The hackle is purple cock. And the wing is bucktail, but instead of using the white side of this undyed bucktail, we're using the brown side. It's kind of unusual. Most patterns will tell you to, get dyed bucktail, or in this case this is natural, and, use this side of the bucktail, but we're going to use it in this side instead. This is shorter hair, so it's a little bit more fiddly to use, but nevertheless it works. So let's get started. We'll tie on our thread. Bring it to the hook point. Now, if you're not tied on this mylar that has gold on one side, silver on the other, if you tie it on gold side facing out, when you begin to wind, it flips over to silver. So you always do the reverse. If you want gold, you tie silver. If you want silver, you tie gold. Now, I'm going to do something here which is perhaps not traditional, but it makes it more durable. It's not the nicest way to tie it, but it's effective. I'm going to wrap my tag back. And I'll try and keep my thread in touching turns as much as possible. And I'll bring it forward. And I'll just bring that out of the way. And the reason for doing that is it prevents the mylar from coming apart when a fish hits it. If you just wrap the mylar back, then wrap it forward, the first time a fish hits it, that all shreds. Make sure you don't let any black show through. Okay, there we go. Just unwrap that. And a couple of wraps to lock it in, and we trim it off. Now we're going to use the saddle hackle for our tail. Just pull off about a 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit more, and make sure things are level. Use a pinch loop, keep it on top, wind it back. Now we put in our silver oval tinsel for the rib. And finally the purple yarn. Okay, you can see we have a bump here created by all these tags being tied in. If you had seen my video on Van Leuven, you would see me do something different. I tied the tags along the side of the hook to fill in the space made by the return. I didn't do this on this video, I'm doing something different. So I just want to show you how it looks when you tie it different ways. So let's advance the thread and we'll wrap down those tag ends. Now we have that bump here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tight wrap of the purple yarn over the bump And as I come off the bump, I'm going to back off the tension so my yarn puffs up. Now I'm going to run it backwards, and I'm going to put an angle on it so it creates a taper. Then I'll take the angle off. Again, angling it, and taking the angle out, wrap forward, and putting the angle back in. And as you can see, it creates a nice smooth cigar shape to the body. Now for our rib, and if you notice that tail moving a little bit, just fit it back into place. Put about 5 turns in here. Okay, now we'll tie in our cock hackle. You notice I prepared this feather. I've created a little triangle at the front. That's a tying in point by clipping off the tip, and I've trimmed off one side because I don't want this hackle to be too heavy. You want those hackles sweeping back, so if they want to go forward on you, just push them back. And wrap each turn in front of the previous. Sometimes they want to spike up on you, that's okay, just wrap them back. Okay, now we're ready to tie in the wing, and I'm going to be using a hair stacker. I want this stacked appearance. It goes about the length of the tail, and I always put my bucktail in front of the hook, wrap over, and then as I tighten up it spins around. Put some good tight wraps in there. Hold it in place. Lift it up, trim it off. I've got a couple of bits in there, we'll just get rid of those. There we go. Now just wind that down nice and firmly. There we go. Now it's time to whip finish. There we go. Now all I'll have to do is put in our head cement. Now just notice a couple of things. On this particular fly, I've flared things back a little bit, made it a little slicker. It will penetrate better, it will stay more compressed in the water. The one that you saw in the vise previously, the wing stood up more, and I did that, I was able to create that effect by advancing the yarn further along the head. So when I tied in the wing, it butted up against the body and it came up at a greater angle. This is a stylistic choice. I prefer this particular style for fishing purposes, but if you look in pattern books, you'll see the style of the first fly most typically when they demonstrate it with a much more upright wing. So it's going to be your choice how you like to do it. This is the type of fly I would fish with, and the other one is kind of more traditional. So anyway, either way, they're going to catch fish. So tie one up, give them a try. They do work. Cheers.